After years of using Android, I finally switched to iPhone, and these are my experiences. Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. Master, that's swtiched guy. If you're new to the channel, please consider subscribing, and if you do eventually end up liking the video, please hit that thumbs up. Now, I finally switched to iPhone, not because I hate Android or anything, but circumstances just led me here. I've been using the iPhone 11 for the past, I think 2 or 3 months, and this is what I found out in case you're thinking about switching to iPhone or vice versa. Now, first, let's talk about the switch itself. The switch can get hectic. There is a facility on iPhone that can allow you to move your apps and data from Android to iPhone, but it takes a long time. And there's also the issue of compatibility. Let's say you want to move your backed up data from Android to iOS, it can actually be hectic. There are apps out there that you can use as well, not to say it's all doom and gloom. There are apps that you can use and some are paid for, but that whole process, be rest assured, you lose some data in the process. There are also some apps that are on Android that are not available on iOS, so just look out for that. Okay, so one thing you quickly appreciate after switching to iPhone from Android is the performance. iPhone, in my opinion, has better performance. Unlike Android, where you get processors at different levels, entry level, mid-range, and flagship. With iPhones, most of the times you get flagship level performance. All right, this is an iPhone 11. This was unveiled in 2019, but it's actually very fast. Actually, it's faster than most mid-range phones from Android from even this year. So performance, that's a plus. I would go towards iPhone in that regard. Okay, so we cannot talk about performance without talking about gaming. In my opinion, gaming on iPhone is actually way better than gaming on Android. Like I said, this is a flagship level processor. The GPU is great, and this one comes with stereo speakers. So playing games like PUBG, I usually play games like PUBG, Call of Duty. It's actually very nice to play on this phone. The downside may be, especially when you're using iPhone 11, is that if you play games for a prolonged time, the screen tends to dim. But apart from that, gaming performance, excellent. Okay, the next thing that I like about iPhone is build quality. The build quality of iPhones is actually awesome. I mean, everything about it, even if you just hold it in your hand, the weight of the phone and how the materials look premium. This iPhone 11 comes with an aluminum frame. The display, everything about it feels premium. So I would have to go towards iPhone in that regard as well. Now, depending on which iPhone you go for, battery life, the iPhone 11 has a great battery life. I wouldn't know about other iPhones. Maybe older iPhones have bad battery life, but this one has great battery life. I usually get around 7 to 8 hours of screen on time. Even more if I'm not doing much. If I'm just browsing social media and stuff, I can actually even get more. So the battery life is awesome on this phone. Now, I'm not saying Android phones don't have good battery life, by the way, because they, especially if you're dealing with flagship level processors, if you get, let's say, 5,000, 6,000 milliamp hour battery, you can actually last the whole day, you know, and depending on the optimizations on the phone, you can last the whole day. But with iPhone, the battery life is actually great. Now, the next thing that I love about iPhone, as opposed to the Android phones that I have, is the camera. Now, I'm not saying they're also not good cameras, because if you look at Samsung, they shoot great photos, great video, but with iPhone, it takes it to the next level, man. There's just something about how they handle color that I like. So you can actually see the difference that, you know what, there's the video quality or the photos are actually much better on iPhone. That's one thing I like as well. The next thing that I like about iPhone, I have to say, it's the security. With this phone, it's so secure, and I'm not talking about the Face ID. Those are also good stuff, man. Like using Face ID, you know that nobody's going to hack your phone. And I love the fact that even in the dark, Face ID works. So that's a plus for iPhone. But when I'm talking about security, I mean the updates. I mean, like permissions. You know, you cannot give access to apps. You have to choose which apps get certain permissions. And it's more seamless here. I'm not saying you don't get the same features on Android as well, but I tend to like the experience better on iPhone. All right, so the next thing that will steer me towards iPhone as well, it's the updates. At most Android phones, you get up to 2 years of support. Where with this phone, this was launched in 2019, and I know I probably have like 3 more updates to get with this phone. So when it comes to updates, iPhone does it better. I think the fact that they make the hardware and they make the software makes everything seamless. Whereas Android is made by Google. Google has to talk to the phone manufacturer, who has to customize the app depending on what phones they're pushing out. So the experience is much better here. So if you want a constantly updated phone, I'll steer you towards iPhone as well. All right, so the other thing as well is just simplicity. You know, when you pick up an iPhone, I can guarantee you that after like 48 hours, you know how to operate this phone. And I'm not saying you can't do the same with Android as well, but with this, the experience is actually very, very seamless. And before the end of the day, you already know how to get your way around the operating system. So it's actually very easy to use. I like that. Okay, and the next thing is actually, you know, quite funny in my opinion, I think, but people tend to treat you differently when you have an iPhone. I've noticed, at least that's the sort of treatment that I get here in Zimbabwe. Not sure if it's across, but for some reason, I think even those people outside, when they're viewing an iPhone, they probably, I don't know, they have a certain status they associate with this phone. So if you want doors opening in your life, get an iPhone. Now, the only downside I can say when it comes to the iPhone is, and this is just one thing, by the way, is the fact that you have to pay for everything. If you go to the App Store, all the good apps you need to pay for. You need to pay for your iCloud storage. They give you 5 gigs. I'm not even sure how many gigs you get on Android, but I know there's a lot of space that you're given initially on Android. The fact that you pay for Apple Music. Yeah, there are plenty of other alternatives you can use, but I just don't like paying for stuff, you know, especially after forking out a lot of money for a phone, and then you have to pay on top of that for things. But apart from that, my switch to Android, and after using iPhone, I'll probably say, you know what, depending on your needs, you know, if you want maybe to do a lot of content creation and stuff, I'll steer you towards this phone. It's actually a very, very good phone. Not this phone in particular, but the iOS ecosystem iPhone. But if you need to maybe customize your phone and do a lot of stuff with your phone, you know, I'm sure Android can give you a better experience. So that's been my experience when it comes to switching to iPhone. I don't know you guys, have you switched to iPhone or you're planning to switch? I hope if you're planning to switch, I've given you some information that you can consider so that you can make the switch as easy as possible. So the next question is, if you're coming from iPhone, would you make a switch to Android? Leave a comment down below. Otherwise, if you enjoyed the video, guys, give it a thumbs up. See you in the next video.